to show you how you all look like beautiful stars tonight.
From a person who may want to make a docudrama like this, Mustafa, how much does it cost to make a movie like this?
Anywhere between $1 and $10 million. This film cost about, total production cost about $70,000 to make from start to finish, because you're paying a crew of about 5 to 10 people for a total of 3 years. To do it. So, but you can make a film for $100. That's better than this. You can make a film for $1 million. That's worse than this. It just depends on the crew and the hearts and the minds of the people behind the production.
My question is, I want to know Amir Sulaiman's personal outlook as far as music and with Islam.
I produce music, so I do a cappella presentations of my work, and also there's musical presentations, and those musical presentations use kind of all the instruments that people generally use for creating music. For myself and the leadership that I follow and the scholarship that I follow, and it's a trip because virtually every person in the film, I think maybe every person, almost, I can say with confidence, almost every person, maybe every single person, all of them have leadership, have legitimate scholarship that they use as a reference point. None of them are just kind of willy-nilly Muslim, I'm making this up as I go. For myself, as a means by which to engage with people, I find it very effective. As a matter of fact, while the movie was playing, I remembered that you guys know the part of the film where I'm on stage and I'm talking about that narration about change it with your hands, and if you can't, condemn it with your tongue if you can't. Like that was like the people behind me, the band, none of them are Muslim. And I don't think anybody in the audience was Muslim for that matter. This was in a club, like a club with a bar, cold club thing, for real club, right? And it wasn't like a club that the Muslims rented out for a night. Like it was a club with regular club type people doing club type things at the club. And so, but they invited me. So one, just that they invite me is something. Like we're gonna do our thing, but we want to hear what you have to say. And for me to say that, which is just a straight hadith basically, and for them to explode and stand up and clap and things like that, I said, mashallah, this is effective. And also, I like Islam being easy for people. Like, if Islam was only for the weak, for the strong, then I wouldn't be Muslim. I wouldn't be here. That's by Allah, I swear to God. I wouldn't be here if it was only for the strong people. And we have strong people that represent it, so that's good. And then we have weak people who are just barely making it. And then we have some people in between. And we have some people that are very strong about this thing, but very weak about that thing. And so what we can do is because just the blessing of the Ummah of Muhammad, even just to be a part of it, even if you're just on the fringes of it. Just when we're raised up on the day of judgment, you say, this is my prophet. Even if you're on the fringes and you're weakly just hanging on, it's better than not being. So if I can get a person that saying, man, you know what? I do believe there's nothing worthy of worship besides Allah, and I believe that Muhammad is his messenger, but I really like Hennessy. Hey, let him in. Yeah. And when he's raised up, you have to deal with the Hennessy, but his advocate on that day is still the messenger of Allah, which is strong. So he still has an advocate on the day of standing. And so, there's some weak and some strong. You just let all the people come in. Like, we don't have to be like a bouncer for the Deen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the club and like this person's dressed this way, we don't want that type of person in the club that's gonna throw off the vibe, and there's too many guys here, so we want some women, or like, we just like this as much as we can. And then, matter of fact, you said something to me, we're in the airport, we were talking something about, what was the thing you said about, easy in the test or something like this? We make it easy and then law test something like
Yeah, someone asked Dr. Omar, would you say to people who accuse you of watering down the deen for people? And he said, absolutely, we water it down for people. We make it as easy as possible for people to be Muslim because we're not the tester. Allah is the tester. Right? So our job is to make it easy for them, and it's up to Allah. If Allah's going to put them through a test, that's their trial that Allah gave them, but it's not for us to take the attribute of Allah and purposely put people through tests because we don't know their condition. If they're strong or if they're weak or not, that's up to Allah. And Allah has told us that insan da'if, right? That verily the human is a weak person. And we do this, we do the da'wah, we give the message, but it's not up to us who's going to enter Islam. It's not our decision. Allah says in the Quran, He says, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ لَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Verily you don't guide who you will to Islam, but it's Allah who guides who He wills to Islam. Our only job is just to be Muslim. That's it. That's our job, just to be Muslim. The rest is up to Allah.
First of all, I'd like to say I enjoyed it immensely, and I'm also happy to see what I think's going on now, pretty much all over the world. Is we're starting to get what I view as young producers, young artists like yourself, actually putting a different spin on how to perceive reality. Some of the artists that I saw up there, they made me feel uncomfortable, and the reason why they made me feel uncomfortable is because I was wondering, were they approaching bid'ah? Are they trying to use Islam in their message to innovate something? And I don't want to go. I don't want to be specific, but some of them made me feel like, while listening to it, made me feel uncomfortable. So I would, again, my question to you is, again, like when I'm listening to John Coltrane, or I'm listening to like Andres Vollenweider, or if I'm listening to like Mozart, I'm hearing something and it evokes a complexity, a magnitude. And when for example, what you were doing did that, and the brother at the beginning, I forget his name, but he went off on a tangent a little bit sometimes, but I felt that. You know what I mean? So can you either one of you direct me to something that's more in line with that, that's staying away from that whole, let's be careful here, that's not doing the innovation, because we know what that is.
Right. The artists that you mentioned, Coltrane, Mozart, and these people were absolutely professionals in their fields. They're impeccable at what they did. And then you can include people like Bob Marley, right, who was Rastafarian. We were having this conversation on the way here. Right. Who was Rastafarian, but you don't feel like he was proselytizing to you. You don't feel like he was shoving Jah Rastafari, down your throat. And so the conversation that we have a lot is that are we Muslim artists, or are we artists who are Muslim? And it seems kind of a strange distinction for a lot of Muslims to hear, like, why would you need to make that distinction? For me, and Amir will probably talk a little bit about this because he's the one who put this in my mind first. I don't consider myself a Muslim artist or a Muslim filmmaker or an Islamic director. And the reason I don't is that I don't only make Muslim-centric films. I have a film that's about to come out at the end of this year called The Warm Heart of Africa, that's about the HIV/AIDS orphans of Malawi. And they're all Christian orphans. There's not a Muslim in the film at all. But under the guise of, or under the title of Muslim filmmaker, it would have to be a film about orphans in Palestine or Afghanistan or Iraq. So for me, myself, I'm an artist because I was an artist before I became Muslim. I converted in 1996. It's part of what I am. It's not something I can divorce myself from. So I think that conversation that we have, and this is the reason, I'll let him talk about it, why he asked how many people listen exclusively to Muslim music.
I think I desire the same thing that you're desiring to see in artists, in any artist that I engage, that I enjoy, but what I want to see more in the Muslim artist world. The reason I ask how many listen to music, and everyone, or at least a strong majority of people here are Muslim. I would dare say everyone here is Muslim. So why does no one raise their hand and says who listens to Muslim music? Because most of it's whack. It's not good. That's right. And the one-dimensional element of it is that they are saying, it took me years actually, because the same curiosity that you had. I was like, why is it this good? Like, and I will have to keep asking this is over years of like researching and mulling over this, is because many times Muslim artists, a person that sees themselves as a Muslim artist, they say what they think they should say, not really what they mean.
Or what they feel.
Or what they feel, who they are. So they have, I am representing Islam, so therefore I'm going to say A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and you never feel like you're hearing a real person. So when you hear Coltrane, you are experiencing a real person in a very intimate and spiritual way. When you listen to some of the Muslim artists, it's like engaging a pamphlet, you know what I mean? Like a dawah pamphlet or something in rap form, and it's corny. And so for myself, what's inside of me, I've been Muslim all my life, what's inside of me, Islam is a part of whom I am. It's not something I can part and parcel away. So what comes out of me, naturally, it's Islam in it, you know what I mean? But it's really, really who I am. And a lot of Muslim artists are afraid to express really who they are because all of who they are might not be totally in line. So what most of them do is they either do the dawah pamphlet rap stuff, which is boring and corny, or they turn off their Islam when they go into the booth. So there's other artists who, if you heard their music is foul. Like, it's just so foul. It's just horrible things being said. And then they'll take a break, make wudu, pray asr, then come back. And so they have to do like a kind of schizophrenic type of thing. And most of the, this isn't, we just having a discussion, so this is like, I'm not trying to be judged, maybe I shouldn't say things like whack and stuff like that, so it won't seem so judgmental, but this is just a classification kind of thing that I'm doing. Now, I'm not saying one better or worse, whatever, but many Muslims that are in the industry, as you know, you would never know they were Muslim by what they express, because they are hiding that part of themselves, and then other Muslim artists are hiding their real self and just presenting their Islamic persona instead of really their personality. But I think once we get more comfortable with ourselves, and that's what I mean, once we're comfortable with ourselves, then that type of art will evolve. Yeah.
Another part of it too is that the arts in Islam is that we're seeing it now, coming from the days of Coltrane and Art Blakey, who were Muslim, and the public might not have known they were Muslim, but they were very good. They're Muslims intrinsically. They were Muslim. From that period until now, arts hasn't really been something that flourished for Muslims in the West, and part of that might be because it's been shunned for a greater part of the community has shunned the arts. Music is haram, drawing pictures is haram, photography is haram, filmmaking is haram. So it's very difficult for an artist to flourish in that type of environment, to give it their all, especially when religion is concerned, because one doesn't want to do something that's against his or her faith.
Let's go. I'm trying to get this guy to leave.
No, man, I'm trying to stay here as long as I can.